Good afternoon. I've just realised how bald do I look if I stand like this. I kind of look like a baldy man with a big beard. But I can assure you, I've still got a full head of hair. But look at this. Amazing. Anyway, back to Mushroom World. People think it's over because the pubs are opening, because the gyms are opening. And sadly, as the song goes, it's only just begun. So we're going to talk about Mushroom World, where people are fed shit and kept in the dark, and just some observations on what I've been seeing and things that I've been doing since I was last here camping with John Jr. So I'm going to have some lunch. I've already got my fire on, and I'm going to have some posh camping food, dehydrated stuff, scrambled eggs with cheese, because I couldn't be bothered making anything. So I'm going to have this and we'll be back directly. What do you think of my new lightweight Realtree camouflage boots? I'm breaking these in, so I'm hopefully going to be wearing these down the West Highland Way in a few months. If you can see them, I'll give them a wee move, because they're maybe invisible amidst all the twigs and the sticks and the dirt. But that's the lunch boiling, so I'm going to have that, then we'll be back. I don't know what I was expecting, but I didn't expect my dehydrated scrambled egg and cheese to look like a bag of dried Wotsits. But hey ho, we'll give it a bash. Look at that. Shelf life infinity. Pretty much. This is black coffee, but the last time I used this canteen I had a few wee halves of the finest whiskey in it, so it's like an Irish coffee today. I can still taste the whiskey. So where to begin in the discussion about Mushroom World? And what I'd like to start by saying is I'm going to talk about things today that potentially seem a bit out there, and I just want to express that these are my conclusions. I don't wish to tell you how to live, or how to think, or what to believe. Let it go in one ear and out the other. And if YouTube or people on behalf of YouTube are deciding to they might want to consider censoring this video, I would imagine there's a human being at the end of the screen listening, and I would like to think it's not just a computer that's picking up on words and deciding to stop thoughts and opinions getting out there. And everybody has their entitlement to thoughts and opinions, surely. If there's any reason and justice in this world, then people's opinions, regardless what they are, should be heard. Then we can come to an understanding. So I want to talk about the coronavirus, COVID-19, SARS-CoV-2, however you wish to address it. And many people, I watch a lot of online stuff, and a lot of people will refrain from saying COVID-19 because it will pop up. The subtitles know what I'm saying, they know I'm saying SARS-CoV-2, and that will likely be flagged. But again, I'm hoping that there's some person that's maybe reviewing it to be flagged, and they can see that this is just my conclusion, my observations, and I wish in no way to tell people how to act and how to be. So today is Monday the 26th. Apologise for the smoke, but today's Monday the 26th, and it's quite a significant day here in Scotland. The pubs and the gyms and the leisure facilities, a lot of businesses and things are opening back up. I can now legally go about my business doing barbering and hairdressing. But a lot of businesses are opening back up again for the first time in a number of months, and I wish every single one of them well. But I'm under no illusion that this is a step towards normality in no way, shape or form. And the way I come to this realisation is I've seen a inherent wickedness and a desire to control the population over the last year, over the last 3 weeks to flatten the curve. And put yourself in the position of a bad person. If you're a bad guy and you want to abuse someone, or you want controllers over someone, if you've got them in that chokehold and you see that they're about to pass out, you don't all of a sudden let them go and make their escape. Now, what I see of this new tier system, it's given people the belief that they're in some way heading back towards normality. Now, if you put your happiness in getting back to work, or getting back to the gyms, or getting back to the pubs, and it's giving you hope and light at the end of the tunnel that tonight, if you wish, you can go to a beer garden and share a few drinks with a limited number of people. And further down the line, in perhaps a month or so, it might be more people and you may be able to drink indoors or whatever. Then your happiness and your hope for normal coming back is increasing. And if I'm that bad guy with a stranglehold on someone I want to abuse, if I really want to make them suffer, not just physically, but emotionally and psychologically, I would, if I were a bad person, slacken the choke a little bit, give them some sort of hope. Then before they know it, I've put the choke on even tighter, and they're even more dehumanised. They're even more downtrodden than they were, because they had that little taste of hope that perhaps they maybe escape from my stranglehold, until I choked it in much harder. Now, if you look at the world press, you can see in pretty much all of the Western civilization, and I use the term civilised very loosely because there's not a lot civilised about society today. But if you look at the news, the mainstream media and otherwise, which you must look at both sides of the story, there's a lot of talk that the vaccines, which don't fit the definition of vaccines, but anyway, the vaccines aren't responsible for the downward slope in cases of COVID-19, SARS-CoV-2, whatever you want to call it. I personally call it the seasonal flu. They're saying the downward slope in the cases is not due to the vaccinations, it's thanks to the lockdowns. Now, if you pay attention and observe, you will see, and at home, my missus, she likes to listen to the radio while she's chained to the kitchen sink, and she listens to rock radio, Total Rock Radio or something, and even the advertisements on this are saying, get your free, lateral flow test from the NHS, make sure you're protected, all this nonsense. And I've explained in previous videos that the lateral flow test, as well as the PCR test, and this is my understanding, and I've read it and I take it to be matter of fact, that both the lateral flow test and the PCR test do not identify specific viruses. And again, I could be wrong, but I have looked into it a lot, and I don't just look at Facebook posts and memes and crazy people screaming in anger on YouTube and BitChute and all these other platforms. I read articles and medical journals, and I read books, and I've determined that the PCR and lateral flow test is not fit for purpose. Now, when the weather inevitably turns, which it always does, in Scotland in particular, when the weather changes from summer to autumn to winter, that's when people are afflicted by the disease, the common cold, the seasonal flu, which has now been redefined as SARS-CoV-2 and COVID-19. And when the new rollout of cases and possible testing in schools, and more people are inclined to take these tests, because taking a test and taking a vaccination nowadays seems to imply some virtue. It's not virtuous. It's not virtuous at all. It's basically going along with the flow, herd mentality. Now, when the cases rise and lockdown comes back up, I would imagine there's a lot of businesses that will maybe permanently shut their doors. It's possible, and I don't know, the future is still to be told, but it's possible that the furlough payments stop, and this would leave a lot of people up shit creek without a paddle. And when people are angry and people are uncertain, whether it be financial uncertainty, are they going to keep their home, or can they afford to live as they were living, they can become incredibly volatile. And who are they going to point the finger at? Now, in my line of work, I speak to a lot of young guys, men in general and women, but a lot of young guys, and a number of these young guys below 25-year-old, they fear that the general population, or the people who have entirely wholesale bought into the belief that there is such a life-threatening disease as coronavirus or COVID-19 or SARS-CoV-2, that the finger's going to be pointed at them, and they're going to be made to feel shame and forced potentially to be segregated from the rest of society by means of vaccination passports and things such as this. Now, one country that I'm surprised that is going with the flow, the lateral flow on these vaccination passports, is Israel, the new home of the Jews. Now, in the 1930s and 40s, and I wasn't there, but it's alleged that the Jews suffered at the hands of the Nazi regime, and they were identified with the yellow Star of David. It's a different form of human being than the rest of society. And in Israel now, you have people who don't want to take these vaccinations for reasons best known to them, and potentially that some of them have looked into damage that vaccinations have caused in the past. And it's well documented, vaccinations do and have caused harm in the past, and if you doubt me in any way, that's okay. But what I would say is there such a thing as a vaccination that doesn't come with a leaflet of possible side effects or direct effects? And the answer is no. And the reason for this is, to one degree or another, there are chemicals and substances and things within all medication, because all medication, when prescribed, comes along with a list of side effects or direct effects. And the reason why people have these side effects or direct effects is because these vaccinations and medications have ingredients in them that have one degree or another of toxicity, meaning they don't go well within the human body. And these things may be in there, perhaps not for sinister reasons, but they may stabilise compounds, they may stop certain compounds breaking up, or solutions deteriorating, or whatever they are educated to believe. But there are things in all pharmaceutical medication that are not supposed to be in the human body. Therefore, why would you put it in Because when these things are tested, they're tested generally on healthy subjects or animals, which are not human beings. And that's not the real world. My body may be waiting for the straw that breaks the camel's back with regard to toxicity. I eat foods that have preservatives and additives and colours and things like that. And that chemical compound, that unnatural poison, that neurotoxic byproduct may be the straw that breaks my back. And it could lead to disease, perhaps not now, but further down the line. And anyone who's not wary or cautious of taking any medication, whether it be antidepressants or vaccinations or antibiotics, God help us. And again, antibiotics, people go crazy. They think they've got a viral infection and they demand a prescription for antibiotics. Now again, my understanding of antibiotics is that they kill bacteria. Now, it's said that your gut is full of billions of bacteria. If I start putting things into my digestive system that kill bacteria, would it not make logical sense to be concerned that are they killing bacteria that are useful for me to get energy from the foodstuffs and things that I eat? To me, that's logic. To take these things on a whim, thinking because some guy who followed a curriculum for a number of years, a curriculum that is all based on theory and questionable research, because if science is to be science, it must be open to be questioned. And for people to take these things and encourage their loved ones, and I use that term loosely, and their children to take these things without looking into them, God help us. Now, I read a book recently. It's called What Really Makes You Ill. And it's a 750-page bad boy. It's got a lot of information in it with regards to toxicity of the body, etc., and things that are used as ingredients in pharmaceuticals and things. And if you're inclined, have a look at this book, and you may have a better understanding of what we do to our bodies day to day by the food we consume, the products we use, the lifestyles we have, the medications we have, the mindset that we have. It's all very relevant, and all these things lead to disease. We're in a sad state of affairs, and I don't think it's going to get any better anytime soon. And again, it's not over, and people are looking forward to the next month, the next couple of months where the sun will be out, the cases will be low, and they'll be down the pub or getting drunk. And in one instance last week I was watching Nicola Sturgeon. I watch her, I've got to hear what she's saying, her side of the story and what she's looking to impose on the greater society. But not me, because Nicola Sturgeon is not above me. I've never given her any ownership over my body or my rights to live my life how I want to live. But anyway, Nicola Sturgeon was having her weekly talk live, and I noticed a young man says, "I can't wait until next Monday till I can get pissed at the pub." And I said to this guy, what a sad way to live. I can't wait to get pissed. Is your life so bad that you look forward to moving away from reality? This is reality, stone cold sober. When you start introducing drink and drugs and marijuana and all sorts of things, you're taking yourself away from the stone cold you. And I'm not against drinking, I'm not against many things, but to say you can't wait to get pissed, or people just, the most important thing that they can say in a day is, here's my carry out for tonight and things like that. It's what a sad pathetic way to live. And children are watching this. Impressionable people are watching these people. And we all have an impression on others. We become our environments. I'm sliding about in this chair like it's... But anyway, society is being stupefied. It's certainly degrading before my very eyes. But enough of the coronavirus chat. In my world, I've been a busy bee. I've met again loads of new people. I've got loads of new clients booked in the future. Some people I'm really excited to looking for. I had an incredible proposition only yesterday from a new client and his family. But we'll talk about that more in weeks to come. And then when we speak about this, you would never have expected this, that's for sure. But I've got some interesting things coming up in the next few weeks for sure. With regards to my work, I'm still maintaining my mobile services. I don't trust that the salons will stay open, and my means to have the dignity to earn a living will be viable in a salon. So I'm doing mobile barbering and hairdressing just now. And in the future at some point, perhaps next year, perhaps the year after, perhaps never, but I have plans for something big, and I've spoke to a lot of my guys, a lot of my clients about this, and they're really enthusiastic about it. And again, it's something different, because we're sick of the same shit. We can all go down a high street and find a hairdresser that's identical to the next hairdresser, or a barber shop that's identical to the next barber shop. When I have the opportunity to do what I'm doing, it's going to be something completely different, and it's going to be very welcome and much needed. Not just to, not for me. It's going to be somewhere where men can come, and it's going to be good for a lot of people and a lot of families. But I had a few guys up here in the last week or so, and we had some amazing chats. One chat in particular, I had a couple of lads up here, and there's certain things I've not experienced in life, and certain dark places where I've not been. So if I'm hoping to pull someone out of a dark place and I haven't got wisdom or knowledge on that, I'm sure as hell I know somebody who has. So I managed to wrangle an occasion where I got a guy who I knew would benefit from hearing a perspective of somebody that's got a different life experience to me. And we were up here for 4 or 5 hours the other week, and we had a chat, and some good things were said and good things were had. And we were sharpening one another. As steel sharpens steel, man sharpens man. But yeah, that's about how things have been going. My family's doing well. Hopefully we'll get to do a bit more things now with some of the restrictions lost. Perhaps get back to some summer camping with the family if the campsites don't get closed down. But if they do, we'll find other means to enjoy ourselves and entertain ourselves. But one thing I want to stress is, it may have seemed that I'm taking you down a rabbit hole just now, talking about how viruses do not spread from person to person. And this is what I believe to be true, and that there is no virus, COVID-19, killing people. There is reasons why people are dying, and if you want to know about that, ask, and I can make a video about it in great detail. But although it may appear that I've taken you down a rabbit hole, my intention is just to kind of make you aware and think why you are behaving, why you're behaving, and how you see things, how you've seen things. Is it because you've came to an understanding, or are you living by someone else's understanding? And it's also important to note that don't get sucked down the rabbit holes, because they're a cesspool, and there's a lot of slime and gunge and piss and shit down these holes for the most part. A lot of people are just looking to get you afraid and angry in the alternative news media and things. And don't be too open-minded where you suck in everything. you must be able to decipher the good water from the shit. Don't want to be a sponge. A sponge sucks up everything, shit and all sorts, and come out once in a while. Like for example, I've started reading a novel, a fictional novel, just so that I'm taking a break away from the studying and observing what's going on in the world today. And it plateaus me out and takes me out of that realm. I have a bit of enjoyment and a bit of peace, and it's good not to be down that rabbit hole for too long, because it can really distort and contort your way of thinking, and it can also make you appear to be a mad psychopath for the most part. And again, you look at some of the rallies and the marches and the people that are becoming insta famous and social media fame. There is an agenda for the most part for a lot of people. Some people have good intentions, but when you see a lot of people speak, there's a lot of hatred and anger in a lot of these voices. And one of my mantras is never take advice from someone who doesn't have their shit together. Make sure people are calm. Make sure people aren't losing their mind and screaming at you, telling you how you should see life through their eyes and what to do. But anyway, my fire's dying down. It's getting a wee bit cold. It's the first cool day we've had in a few. We've had beautiful weather, and it's been great to do things with the boys and just be out in the sun. Because there is no substitute for nature. There is no supplement that gives you vitamin D like the sun gives you vitamin D. You can take your vitamin D supplements and stick that right up your arse with all the other poisonous shite that's in the supplement. Nature is best. God is best. Anyway, I've rambled on a bit today, but I have peace. I'm happy. Things are going well, and I hope they are for you too. So until the next time, God bless. Thanks for listening, and we'll speak very, very soon. Adios.
Adios, amigos.